r/ProRevenge. My boss tried to kill me. Story by Cummins_lovers. So I worked for a security company. Not a hard job, super easy. State minimum wage was $11.59 per hour. I was working 10 hours a night from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. driving a mobile patrol security car. Like I said, probably the easiest job you could possibly have. Well, after a couple months of a normal schedule, I got called into work and was told my colleague was fired because he broke into a tenant's apartment because he wanted food. I genuinely could not understand what kind of ed-up logic he had. I ended up being made to work 7 days a week and my hours were bumped up to 12 hours a night. 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. I didn't mind at first because my supervisors claimed, "We will have a replacement within a few weeks." 4 months later, I'm still working 7 days a week 12 hours a day. My birthday weekend is coming up and I put in for time off so I could leave with my family. I have 16 days till my vacation starts. Day 1 they give me a guy to train. He never showed for his first night of training. Day 2 business as usual. Day 3 new trainee, this one actually showed up, made it to the end of the shift and seemed genuinely interested. Day 4 dude didn't show. Day 5 to 8 business as usual. Days 9 to 13 third new trainee, and his training was spot on. No issues. Day 14, new trainee's first day driving the company car. Day 15, finally my first day off in nearly 5 months. The next day I packed my shit with my family and took off to my family's cabin. As we pulled into my mom's cabin's property, my trainee calls me asking me to cover his shift. I was 8.5 hours away in the middle of nowhere. The only reason I have cell service is my truck has a cell range extender. Seriously, the best investment I've ever made, but right then I hated it. I told him no, he had to do his job and show up to the shift. After the call, I shut my phone off and left it turned off the entire 5-day weekend, and enjoyed my time with my family. It was a much-needed break. The end of my 5-day vacation comes and I turn my phone back on and am greeted to 400+ missed calls from my supervisors. And I you not 3,000 texts from my supervisor and my trainee. Apparently the trainee didn't show to his shift but claimed I was gonna be there. I called my boss and explained where I was, and why I was not there, then reminded him about my vacation that he signed off on. No big deal, heat is off me. New guy gets yelled at for lying. A month later, my trainee totals the car. He had been drinking on the job, texting and driving, and destroyed the company rig. Then proceeds to tell us something that floored my supers and myself. Supervisor: "What the were you thinking driving drunk in a company rig?" Trainee: "I wasn't thinking. This is my second DUI. "No, you didn't misread that, he actually said it," and I burst out laughing. Me: "Dude, if you're not fired after this you will go down in history as the most lucky bastard in history." This was still working for that company for another year. During that time they milked as much out of his paycheck as they could to pay for the car he destroyed. Fast forward to June 2018. I've been working 7 12-hour days a week for 14 months. No days off. My body is starting to suffer from it and I'm starting to develop some pretty alarming symptoms. I procrastinated as much as I could and ignored these symptoms, trying to avoid going to the doctor's office. Never really liked doctors because I've had a really shit experience with one. The night comes when I cannot get out of bed. My body is completely weak and unresponsive. I can barely roll over until my family helps me sat up and get me into the truck to go to the More on my symptoms. Every once in a while I would lose the ability to move my left leg or my left arm. My body would feel weak, like I was being weighed down with lead-cast weights. Almost like I was stuck on Earth experiencing gravity from Jupiter. I seriously lost 80% control. Sometimes it was sudden, sometimes it was gradual. Imagine driving your car and lost mobility and can't even lift your finger enough to drive your car. It was terrifying, and I couldn't convince my bosses that it was getting dangerous and I needed them to stop scheduling me till I figure this out. Back to my trip. As I get into the I drop down to my knees and I had to ask a random guy help me back into my feet. I'm 6 feet at 312 pounds. My mom couldn't possibly get me up because she was 68 years old and super fragile. Anyway, I got help, got examined, and they diagnosed me with Graves' disease. Great. What the does that mean? Graves' disease means my thyroid produces a bunch of thyroid hormones and won't stop. My brain tells it to stop, but management and production lines are not listening to each other. So my body is so full of this hormone and it's overloading my system. Eventually it was determined that I needed to get surgery. But that was nearly 11 months out. Now the doc says, you can't work till this is figured out. If you do work, it's light duty only. No walking and no driving, this is important later. I get scheduled to watch a site. Light duty. They told me to just sit in my truck and watch. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm there for 4 nights. Night 1, no issues, nothing to report. Night 2, our first issue client, your guard is not patrolling. Super, we understand. He has a medical condition that prevents him from walking right now. Client, that's not our fault. Make him patrol. That night they let me drive my truck as a patrol. That was a huge problem. Night 3, I was forced to walk around and patrol the area. I'm struggling to stay standing and I do short patrols. Another major mistake. Client was not happy. Night 4, this is the final night. I made a walking patrol and went down, and could not get back up. The area I'm in is an open field with a railroad track. This train I'm guarding is out in the sticks. Oh, did I mention I can't move and I'm an unarmed security guard? There were cougars and coyotes in the area. I was defenseless and so weak I couldn't even scream for help. Then it starts raining. I tried reaching around to find my phone, but the way I landed my arm was trapped under my stomach. I'm alone. In poor heel. No radio, no one coming to help me, no one knew what was happening. Wild animals were nearby and they could easily kill and eat me. This is a really bad situation. Suddenly my phone starts ringing. My manager is calling, but I can't reach my phone. If he calls again and I don't answer, he has to come out to see me. I hear the phone stop ringing, and I expect it to ring again. 5 minutes, nothing. 30 minutes, nothing. 47 minutes after he calls, another employee stops by trying to find me. I see him, and I try to scream, but all I can do is grunt. Luckily my coworker heard it and called an ambulance for help. He also called the supervisors, the client and the police. He helps me roll onto my back, and I finally can breathe correctly. 33 more minutes, the EMTs are here and they get me up off the ground, and help me up, and I assure them that if I sit in my truck, I'll be okay. Police arrive, followed quickly by both the supers and the client. Client is informed I spent most of my shift laying on the ground and it's all on my truck's dash cam. My supers realized just how screwed they are and they finally understood they were breaking the law. Then all 3 men are informed by the police that the medical note is negligence. My doctor was promptly called and we had a huge meeting with my doc, his lawyer, my mother, my coworker, the supers with company attorney and the client. My doc dropped a huge lawsuit in their laps and it required that the company pay up and surrender their business license. Their attorney tried to settle with a lesser dollar amount. I refused. Every time he tried to negotiate, I upped the price again and again till they figured out just how upset I am. They gave up their business license and paid the terms. A major court case would destroy what's left of the business. That was September 2018. I had to wait for the NDA to expire to post this. 2019 in May, and my surgery went fantastic. I feel great and I have never felt better. Peas. I forgot to mention, I was wrongfully terminated the night I collapsed, because I was incapable of performing the duties required. Edit. Just to clarify, my doctor's lawyer was involved because of the negligence and I requested that my doctor take care if it. Second edit, had to fix a typo. Most important sentence of this story, the final one. Glad you're alright, smiley face. Ah yes, let's force the person who is obviously not in good health and has medical backing to do work that is not allowed. What can possibly go wrong? Classic manglement. Glad you're okay, mate. Lol, that's a hell of a post-history, my dude. You are an absolute legend for making it to the end. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please hit that like button. And if you can't get enough, consider subscribing. See you around.